This is my vocab project for EL 416 section ZA. The text I chose was the Golden Book History of the United States, Volume 9, Second World War from 1940 to 1945. Content area was high school history, the unit was World War II, and the section was America Enters the War. So the vocab strategy I decided to use was the vocab overview guide in our textbook from pages 217 to 220, as listed or as pictured here on the right hand side of your screen. I chose the vocab overview because in my opinion it was the easiest to navigate, which allows students to use it for assessments on later dates. It also allows students to use it in their own words. As I go on to say in later slides, I like using them or having an explanation in my own words. I don't like the Webster Dictionary or anything like that. For these ideas, I like to have my own words to look back on and to study from. It also gives me as an educator an easy way to assess my students, seeing if they know the vocab word or if I have to spend more time onto it. Integrating it into my lesson, I would give them key vocab words to write on these overview guides. One way I would do it is called the word wall. I would have a bunch of words onto the whiteboard for our section, such as torpedo, and I would have a funny saying or a little picture on how to remember the torpedo. And as they read their section and as they did their overview guide, they could find a further explanation on how they would remember torpedo. These would also help students through my text by having it something to look back onto. If they did it before our reading, we would be able to look back onto it as they were going through their reading and go, oh, what does the Axis powers mean? Well, that means Japan, Germany, and Italy. Okay. And they would have that right there so they can continue on with their reading. It would also help them because it is written in their own words. And like I said before, I like it as it's written in my own words. I never liked the Webster Dictionary definitions for words. I always studied best and I always enjoyed it myself when I had it in my own words to look back onto and to remember words. Also, having a blank one of these overview guides to allow students to put words on that they still don't know, so they could turn them in at a later date and I could go through and see, okay, they still don't understand the word scuttlebutt or throwing bones or whatever. So I could sit down and have another lesson on further vocab words and further lessons on World War II and have vocab words for them to know. And then as we come to the end of it, the way I would assess this, I would assess it on completion of this worksheet. I wouldn't assess it on do they actually have the right explanation or the right definition for these words. uh, because every student has their own word and every student has their own way of remembering a word. So one student might have 2 words to remember a key vocab word, another student might have a half page to remember it. Every student does it their own way. Also, another way I would assess them is quiz them on their own words. I know that's kind of counterproductive, but have just a couple of key words for a vocab word like Japan, Italy, and Germany. Okay, that's the Axis powers. Or England, the United States, and the Soviet Union. Okay, that's the Allied powers. But that's how I would do it. I would not have word for word the Webster dictionaries onto my exams or onto my quizzes for students to have to know the exact definition for words. I know it would be a high school class, but I believe even in high school, a student doesn't have to know the exact definition for something. Thank you.